Top 10 Alcohol Consuming Countries in Africa 2021. Hello explorers, welcome to another informative video presented to you by Explore. In this video, we should count down the top 10 alcohol consuming countries in Africa in 2021. Alcohol is a regulated drug made with grains, vegetables or fruits, but through fermentation where yeast or bacteria reacts with the sugars in the food resulting in ethanol and carbon dioxide. Alcohol consumed in low amounts, such as a glass of beer or wine, is often used to loosen up with a stimulant effect, but when consumed in larger amounts, the depressant effects begin to sink in. Excessive drinking includes heavy drinking and binge drinking. To evade or limit most of the bad effects of alcohol, it is regulated by laws depending on the country, culture and other characteristics, but many have not even noticed these regulations took less following them. Alcohol.org is an organ which investigates the alcohol consumption levels of countries and ranks them. Even though some countries refute the statistics often given, it is evident that most of the government regulations to restrict the productions, selling and advertisement of alcohol are not as effective as some governments assume them to be. A majority of the top 10 alcohol consuming countries are located in Europe, but the continent of Africa is known to have some pretty heavy drinking countries. The statistics varies each year. Surprisingly, heavy alcohol consuming countries like Cameroon, Nigeria and Ghana didn't make the cut this year. These statistics are measured based on the average citizen of the countries and not population. Hence, without any further ado, here are the top 10 alcohol consuming countries in Africa in 2021. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of our videos. Number 10, Uganda, 26 liters per year. The use of alcohol in Uganda has been a cause of concern, not only because of high prevalence, but also consumption amongst pregnant women, patients, and especially diabetics and teenagers. Alcohol use during pregnancy is seen to be high, which has been associated with several births and developmental disorders. Besides pregnant women consuming alcohol, the consumption of alcohol is predicted to be the 7th leading cause of death in 2030, as alcohol consumption influences diabetes evolution. According to the World Health Organization, alcohol can interfere with self-care behaviors, which are important determinants of diabetes prognosis. Also, in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, there has been an increase in domestic violence, for which harmful alcohol consumption is a risk factor. These aspects have not only cost Ugandans a lot in terms of socio-economic values, but has placed them as the 10th alcohol-consuming nation in Africa in 2021. Number 9, Botswana, 26.2 liters per year. It goes without saying that alcohol has been a part of Botswana's history for many years and decades, and has been an important component of cultural festivals, weddings and other traditional ceremonies. With changing social organization, values, lifestyles and much more, and day-to-day revelries and other pleasure activities multiplying over the years, so have drinking opportunities, the number of drinkers and the amount of drinking. This has made harmful drinking difficult to control. However, the government has demonstrated its commitment to address problems related to harmful alcohol consumption and has over the last decade put in place a number of legal policy and programmatic measures to control alcohol-related harm. Still, Botswana has a total of adult alcohol consumption of 26.2 liters of pure alcohol per annum, where 5.4 liters are recorded consumption and 3.0 liters are unrecorded. The majority of the alcohol consumed in Botswana is beer, with 56%, while 12% is from wine, 11% from spirit and 21% is from other local brews. The national beer, St. Louis, is incredibly cheap and highly consumed. Number 8, Libya, 26.4 liters per year. Oil is the usual talk in Libya, as how it sells and how to sell it are the daily talks, but Libyans are also unaware and unsure about what to do with another kind of highly priced liquid in the country, alcohol. The consumption and sale of alcohol is illegal in Libya, but it has not stopped the oil-rich nation from topping the charts of highest African consumers, as it is not only popular but is available on the black market. Along with Mauritania and Sudan, Libya is one of only 3 African countries that bans alcohol, which has led to the popularization of another method of producing it, home production. A look at the streets of Libya with young people cruising in their cars with bottles of alcohol kills the assertion that Libya is a dry land, because alcohol is very easy to find. It is only expensive given that it is contraband. Another reason why the level of alcohol consumption is strange is given the country is mostly Muslim. But banned or no ban, tradition and religion or not, Libyans are the 8th alcohol consuming country in Africa in 2021. Number 7, Zimbabwe, 27.2 liters per year. A study aimed at determining the drinking habits of Zimbabweans indicated that the overall prevalence of current drinking was 28.9%, with a 95% confidence interval. With a 35.2% in women and 57.7% in men, 40% of the current drinkers reported to have at least one binge drinking weekly. The prevalence of current drinking increases with age and education among women and with income among men. No consistent pattern was observed in binge drinking, by education in both genders and by annual income among men, but it was significantly less frequent among the more affluent women. The Mozambique government wants to draw up plans of interventions to curb heavy drinking amongst its citizens, but the drinking tendency seems to be on a rapid rise. With the lockdown which held the world indoors, Zimbabweans seem to have more than increased their drinking and binge drinking habits to up to 27.2 liters per year. Number 6. Lesotho, 28.2 liters per year. Though Lesotho's total alcohol consumption fluctuated substantially in recent years, it tended to decrease through 2000 to 2018, the period ending at 7.89 liters in 2018. But data on alcohol consumption, attitudes, and knowledge of alcohol were collected by means of questionnaires, interviews, and discussions from 1,133 high school students aged 11 to 22 years in Lesotho, indicates a huge problem. About half of the students, or 54% of the boys and 42% of the girls, had drunk alcohol at some point in their lives. Generally, drinking in Lesotho has been found to be related to age, sex, drinking, or friends, family income, and drinking in the family, but the drinking habits in this southern country has increased drastically over time through 2021. In this same year, with an average of 28.2 liters per annum, Lesotho is the 6th highest alcohol-consuming nation in Africa. Number 5. Algeria, 29.1 liters per year. Coming in heavily at number 5 is surprisingly another Muslim majority nation, Algeria. Total alcohol consumption in Algeria in 2021 is estimated at 29.1 liters per year, taking a lead over countries like Turkey with 28.5 liters per year and Iran with 28.4 liters per year. Take note that these figures represent total alcohol consumption from the age of 15 and above, indicating that as young as 15 years of age, Algerians are already consuming alcohol in mass quantities. Just like most African countries, the alcohol of choice is mostly beer, which constitutes 57.30%, followed by wine with 24.40% and spirits at 18.30%. Number 4. South Africa, 29.9 liters per year. Drinking 48% of beer, 18% of wine, 17% of spirits, and 17% from other alcohol sources, South Africa consumes almost 30 liters of alcohol per annum. Even though South Africa is the wine capital of the continent and one of the biggest wine producers in the world, the majority of its alcohol consumption comes from beer. Beyond the popularity of beer brands like Castle and Black Label, South Africa is pretty evenly distributed in the other types of alcohol people consume. Surprisingly, in South Africa, 65% of the population have never consumed alcohol, which is among the highest rates in the world. In spite of this, a report substituted and submitted by Jonathan Cupido on 23 February 2021 indicates that alcohol remains the primary substance of abuse in South Africa, indicating that those who drink actually represent the population heavily. Number 3. Namibia, 32.4 liters per year. Speaking of substances of abuse, Namibia is known to have a high prevalence of tobacco smoking and alcohol consumption. Alcohol consumption especially is very high, as both sexes are heavily invested in the habit. A study carried out among men and women aged between 15 and 64 years indicated that the prevalence of alcohol is 53.1%, and many socio-demographic factors such as age, area of residence, religion, sedentary lifestyle, and educational status are high determining factors for alcohol consumption in Namibia. Overall, women have higher rates of drinking alcohol, but men have higher rates of engaging in high-risk drinking. Hence, the government has attempted using these important socio-demographic patterns noticed to formulate prevention and intervention programs, but then Namibians seem to be on a different track as they are constantly on the list of highest alcohol consumers in Africa. With one of the highest beer consumption percentages in the world at 97%, other forms of alcohol are very less favored, as local brews constitute 2%, spirits 1%, and wine less than 1%. Number 2. Eswatini, 34.4 liters per year. The efforts made by the government of this small nation, Eswatini, to curb alcohol consumption have been geared towards mitigating the effects of alcohol on the health of its citizens. Alcohol consumption contributes to a significant burden of illnesses, health conditions, and premature deaths in Eswatini. With the prevalence of HIV in the country, there is limited knowledge of alcohol consumption among people living with HIV. which has been a major call for concern to the government and organizations. Research shows that notable prevalence of alcohol use or misuse among people living with HIV in Eswatini was higher amongst males, less educated, never married, and those reported to have HIV stigma. Also, health evidence indicates that alcohol consumption is a serious driver of the spread of COVID-19, which led to the government temporarily banning alcohol production and distribution for 2 months. Despite this ban and other measures, the kingdom is still at the top of the alcohol-consuming nations in Africa. Number 1. Tunisia, 36.6 liters per year. Coming in at number 1 is Tunisia, beating Eswatini by 2.2 liters, attaining 36.6 liters per annum. A country which also highly favors beer over other beverages. 72% of its alcohol consumption comes from beer, followed by wine at 24%, while others constitute less than 1%. Although the overall performance of alcoholic drinks in Tunisia was negatively affected by the coronavirus pandemic, total volume declines in 2020 were mild in comparison to many other developed nations. Off-trade sales have always been significantly higher than in the on-trade in Tunisia, and retail volumes witnessed only a moderate decline during the crisis, as many Tunisians continue to consume beer at home. Tunisian authorities took severe measures in areas with the highest infection rates in 2020 in order to prevent the spread of the virus. This trend had a huge impact on economic activities, although supply and distribution continued throughout the country, even during the lockdown period, enabling alcoholic drinks to remain available throughout the year. There you have it, explorers. Those were the top 10 alcohol-consuming countries in Africa in 2021. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe and share with your friends.